who is the strongest End of Series Bleach captain? If you don't know, the End of Series Bleach captains consist of Shunsui, Kensei, Mayuri, Shinji, Byakuya, Toshiro, Lisa, Rose, Kenpachi, Rukia, Soifon, Iba, and Isane. Now, a lot of people when that question is brought up often name characters like Shunsui, Toshiro, and even Byakuya. But anyone who has read the Kenpachi World novels should know that the strongest Goten 13 captain is Kenpachi Zaraki, and it's not even close. The skim over Zaraki's feats in the novel, other than the fact that he's blatantly stated to be the strongest Shinigami multiple times, he's just blatantly above characters like Shunsui and Byakuya to a significant degree. First things first, Kenpachi fights this character named Hikone, who is a hybrid organism like Ichigo Kurosaki. This being is composed of tens of thousands of souls, multiple Soul King fragments, Gremmy's brains, and her Zanpakuto is instilled with one of the most powerful hollows to ever exist in the Bleach universe, who she also combines with in Resurrection. Throughout the novels, Hikone is consistently shown to have godlike strength and power, especially in the final volume where Hikone is at its strongest. To put its power into perspective, an all-out battle between Shunsui, Yoruichi, Tokinada, etc. is seen as mere child's play to base Hikone. To describe its speed, the narrative compares Hikone to Quicksilver, as she has the ability to use Shinigami Shanpo, Quincy Harankyaku, Hollow Sonido, Fullbringer's Kompaku Subjugation combined all in one, and she had reached the pinnacle of movement techniques in the Bleachverse. After combining with Ikomikidomwe and going into its resurrection, Hikone undoubtedly has traits to make her the Soul King candidate in both Ryazu potency and particularity. Being a Soul King candidate makes Hikone a being who can destroy and reshape the Bleach universe as it pleases. In Resurrection, Hikone was capable of moving so fast that it felt as though time itself had stopped to everyone else on the battlefield, and she was also capable of blitzing and one-shotting Shuhei Isagi multiple times over. This was the same Shuhei who was capable of reacting to and damaging Tokinada with his eyes closed. And like I said before, Tokinada was seated on the tier of Byakuya and Yoruichi and should be relative or above Shunsui in strength. The only characters that are stated to have a chance of defeating Hikone in that time period was Ichigo Kurosaki, Aizen Sosuke, and Kenpachi Zaraki. I won't go into depth on all of her feats because this is not a Hikone video, but this should give y'all an overview on how strong this thing actually is. The most important thing is how Kenpachi fares against this god, and it's unbelievable. Kenpachi, while in base with his eye patch on, has the ability to contest this being who already has the power to blitz and one-shot almost all of the Goten 13, and is so strong that a battle between some of the strongest Goten 13 captains are seen as child's play to it. Kenpachi Zaraki, with his eye patch off, is still able to contest Resurrection Hikone, the Soul King candidate. Their battle looked as though two stars were snapping at each other. And let me remind you, Hikone's speed was described as damn near instantaneous to everyone else. But the crazy thing is, Kenpachi was not even going all out. Even during the fight, Kenpachi had Hikone, this god-tier Soul King candidate, asking Kenpachi if he was going to activate his Shikai, and all he did in response was laugh and say that when fighting someone like Hikone, it's most entertaining to drag things out in as many moves as possible. So it's safe to say Kenpachi could have casually defeated Hikone in his Shikai. Moving on from this though, some other feats Kenpachi has is it's stated Kenpachi could have easily soul-crushed Shuhei just by flexing his Ryazu. Shuhei was undoubtedly in more danger than when he faced Tokinada, and he had an unequivocal death looming over him. The last Kenpachi World feat I will talk about happens after Ikimikidomwe separated from Hikone, absorbed a fragment of Ryo, absorbed a crazy amount of Ryazu around him, and gained immense power. At that point, he became so strong that he was capable of weakening Ichibei Hyosobe's abilities and gained his true name. This same Ichibei was capable of fighting on par with base Yuha, a Yuha that was stated to be able to handle the power of Yamamoto's Bankai. And Ichibei has multiple ways to be put above Yamamoto just in general. And after that, Ikimikidomwe was on his way to kill all of Squad Zero after gaining his full name. And now that you understand how strong Ikimikidomwe became, we can move on. In the next moment, Kenpachi jumped up in the air, and with a blow like a fierce god, he struck and one-shotted Ikimikidomwe. Yes, one-shotted this monstrous being. It was so casual to Kenpachi that he was bored after one-shotting him and called Ikimikidomwe a wimp. So am I telling y'all, Kenpachi Zaraki has enough power to one-shot this being who's arguably relative or above Ichibei Hyosobe? Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling y'all. What's up? What's up? What's wrong with it? Alright then. Yeah, Kenpachi is crazy strong, and to be honest, we don't even need Kenpachi World to assert Kenpachi as the strongest Goten 13 member, as he already has feats putting him there in the 1000-year Blood War arc. One of those feats is being on par with Grammy, whose consistent narrative and lore is being the strongest Stern Reader, which will put him above the likes of Royd Lloyd in strength. Royd was capable of blocking and cancelling out hits from a bloodlusted Shikai Yamamoto, so he should easily be relative to him. And even after sensing Roy's power, Yamamoto thought it was necessary to put the entire Soul Society at risk and activate his Bankai. Now, Shikai Yamamoto is simply infinitely beyond all the other captains in the End of Series that isn't named Kenpachi. For starters, Tokina's spiritual pressure, which is stated on par with Byakuya's and Yoruichi's Ryatsu, who Shunsui is also related to, is a far cry from Yamamoto's, whose Ryatsu described as beyond the bounds of common sense. It is also stated that if Tokinada implemented all of his Ryatsu into the use of Ryujin Raka, it still wouldn't be as powerful as when Yamamoto uses it. And additionally, if Tokinada did have the true power of Ryujin Raka, he would just be able to casually solo all of the people that he was fighting in the battlefield without the need of using any other ability. So, after hearing all of these feats, you all should have an understanding of why exactly Kenpachi is undoubtedly the strongest Gote 13 captain. So me on my comment, right? I come on, my comment there, right? But I'm just telling you the truth, man. He's the strongest. You know, so that's tough. But since I know some people will still argue, let's talk about Shunsui's Bankai because I know some people will still bring it up. Shunsui's Bankai will not help him in any occasion if he just gets blitzed in one shot by Zaraki, which is exactly what will happen as shown by the feats I just mentioned. If I'm being honest, Kenpachi has been stronger than Shunsui since the beginning of the 1000-year blowout arc. He fights Unohana, who is stated to be stronger than everybody else except him, so that would include Shunsui. It's also consistent with Unohana's narrative of her being the only one strong enough to get Kenpachi back into that Am state. And after defeating Unohana, he finally gains the true meaning of Kenpachi, which means to be the strongest Shinigami. And also after activating his Shikai for the first time, his sword is simply just stated to have no rival. So throughout multiple occurrences, implications, feats, statements, whatever, Kenpachi is consistently seen to be above Shunsui in terms of power. Even if by some miracle Shunsui was able to activate Bankai against Kenpachi, the Ryatsu disparity is by such a large margin, and I mean a large margin, that it wouldn't even help him. Kenpachi would just fold Shunsui with his Ryatsu like always. Sure, Byakuya was able to fight Gerard. Cool. Matter of fact, he wasn't even able to fight Gerard for real. He was getting folded by first form Gerard, while Kenpachi was able to casually slice him up, so I'ma move on. Toshiro, he was able to contest voice-ended Gerard, but that would at most put him relative to a weakened Shikai Kenpachi, who is significantly weaker than Canfurion World Kenpachi. I think Mayuri is the only character in the Gote 13 that is capable of contesting Kenpachi. Mayuri is the only Gote 13 member besides Kenpachi stated to be able to match up against Hikone. Obviously, Hikone would be significantly stronger, but this statement could put Mayuri relative in speed to Hikone, as he would need to be able to react to Hikone, whether he was trying to defeat her using his Bankai, drugs, or some other technology. Mayuri's Poison Rangi Shikai was shown to be able to paralyze Kenpachi, so it could be possible for Mayuri to beat Kenpachi. But I just think a full power Kenpachi, even Kenpachi in his Shikai state, talk less of Bankai, would simply be too powerful for Mayuri to handle, even if he had previous knowledge. And the rest of the Gote 13 are simply trash in comparison to Kenpachi, so there's no need in mentioning them, to be honest. Well, in conclusion, I hope I did a good job thoroughly explaining Kenpachi's strength, and I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Kenpachi is most definitely the strongest End of Series Bleach captain, and possibly the strongest captain to have ever existed. And with that, I'll be leaving y'all. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.
I'm about